Welcome to episode 2. In this episode, through time-lapse, find out how I discover what's hiding in that piece of wood. I'm also going to show you in a little bit more detail about a specific piece of equipment that I use. Here we are at the start point of a carving. So I'm starting with this piece of what I thought was cedar, but having cut a bit of it, I think it's larch. So a little bit harder than cedar, but still nice to carve. So without further ado, we'll have a little look at what animal is hiding in here. This is where I start to lose myself into the mindfulness of the creativity of the sculpture. I usually have either some music or an audiobook playing on my ear defenders, and everything else in the world just disappears. The first part of the process for carving any animal really. You create with your big saw. Unfortunately my big saw is a bit poorly at the moment, so I'm using the next one down that I've got, which is okay but slightly underpowered for this job, but it still, you know, still does the job. So I've got the basic shape now, and now it's to go to the next level with creating a little bit more detail. I really love this stage. I use my Still MS 162 for this, and the sculpture really starts to take form, start to see the proper shape of what it's really going to be and what it's going to turn out like. This next stage is a slightly smaller saw again. In fact, this is my smallest saw, where on an owl this sort of size, I'll be taking, you'll see the nose take shape and where the eyes are going to go, and a bit on the claws, the feet. So, and a bit more detail into the wings and stuff. So that's this stage. When I first started, it used to take me about a day and a half. Now 3 to 4 hours, I think. Yeah. So this is my most common carving. That's what I get requested to make the most often. So I'm well practiced at them. This is the Hilti die grinder and it's blooming fantastic. I use this quite a lot, and most of the time this bit is in it, which has been adapted. It's sort of wedge shaped, which is sort of like what's it called, dovetail, for doing dovetail joints. But what I've done is adapted it by hollowing the bottom out and putting some little cross in it. And what I use this for is creating eyes, talons, and beaks on these owls. So it's a great handy piece of equipment for doing all sorts of stuff. But I have various sizes of these as well, but generally speaking I use this one mostly because I can adapt them from this size to bigger ones as well on various animals. So it's a really handy piece of equipment. And this is about taking the sculpture to a more detailed level. And once I've done this bit, I'll also use some other bits of equipment which I'll show you that adds a little bit more detail to the owl. That just makes it a little bit more interesting, and it's where I like to take my sculptures to. If you like my content, please like and subscribe. Thanks. Yeah, so clearing out the sawdust because the next stage is the burning stage. So I don't want to set fire to me workshop. Tends to spoil things a bit. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it just helps. There we go. Okay, having done the basic carving, I've then taken it to the next step of using the finger sander and the Dremel to create a little bit more detail and a little bit more character in the face of the owl. It would be quite fine to leave it as it was, but this just takes it to another level with a bit more detail. So depending on the moisture content of the timber, the burning can take reasonably well. But if I want to really enhance a particular colour, like the black on the feet here and in some other little areas, just to create depth in the feel of the sculpture, I use black paint as well. And I just like the idea of that that sort of hazelnutty browny reddy brown colour to colour the owl as well. It separates it from the colour of the base that it's standing on. Okay, so at this stage we've got very dark solid colour. So this next stage is then what really starts to bring it to life, because I use the wood whacker to sand it, which will make the tips all lighter, go into a sort of medium colour, and then in the depths of any cuts it'll be dark, so it gives the whole sculpture a bit more depth and life, like this. More paint, bit of gloss this time. This really makes quite a difference with animals. So a little bit of gloss paint on the eyes. Again, not all carvers use this. Something that I prefer to do, and I think it just creates again a little bit more contrast. The eyes are the windows to the soul, so when you first look at any animal or another human, we tend to look at their face and look them in the eye. So I try to make that a kind of a special feature of the sculptures that I make. And we'll give him a bit of shine to his nose, so you've got those 3 points there. Like things in threes, that's great in art. Just creates little highlights within the sculpture itself. Well, actually the next bit before we seal it is the most unique part of a Daltonwood sculpture. No, I can guarantee no other sculptures have this bit, not unless they're trying to copy me. Last little bit for the eyes. White dot. What makes a Daltonwood sculpture absolutely unique, apart from all the stuff that I've told you in this video, also are these. computer disc that shows you it's the Daltonwood sculpture. So I've finished the majority of my sculptures with, well, they all get finished with oil, but quite a lot of them with Osmo oil. It's really high quality. It soaks into the wood and preserves it from within. You will, because it's green timber, get little splits and cracks and stuff over the years, but what the oil does is help to reduce that. Make sure you don't miss any future episodes, hit the bell icon. As they say, don't try this at home. But seriously, please don't try this at home unless you've had some proper training. Lots of accidents happen every year with chainsaws because people are not properly trained and don't understand some of the dangers. Particularly with chainsaw carvings, we make adaptations to chainsaws that are done in a safe way, and if you don't know and understand how that works, then you could end up with serious injury. What I recommend is, if there is anything that you see me doing in these episodes, that you get the proper training before you start doing some carving. Thanks very much.